Hey guys, welcome back to my channel AG Motion Designs, and in today's video we are going to create this looping loading animation inside of After Effects without using any third-party plugin. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. So here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition. We will call this comp as our main animation. Width I'm going to choose 1920, height 180, frame rate 30, duration 30 seconds, and background color is proper white color, and simply hit OK. Then choose grid and guide option and hit title safe action. Now I'm going to select my ellipse. I don't want any stroke, so I'll delete the stroke. In the color I'm going to choose someone around purple and hit OK. And by holding shift I'm going to create one ellipse, then press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center, and then press V for selection tool. Now select this, go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Now select this shape layer and hit enter, and let's call this shape as main and hit OK. And for this one I'm going to choose red color because this is gonna be our main. Now select this main and select this, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and we will change the color to green. There is no logic over here, it's just for simple understanding that this is gonna be my main and this is gonna some animation projects or etc. Now select this and hit enter, and let's call this as head and hit OK. Press S and scale it down, and now over here I'm going to change this color. I'm going to change it to pink and hit OK. Let's make this proper foot like that. Now select this head, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, hit enter, and let's change the name. I will call this as extra like that. Press S and let's make it 30 or let's say 20, even small. Now press V for selection tool, move selection tool, and by holding shift I'll drag it over here, somewhere around over here. Press T for opacity, and let's decrease the opacity to 20%. Now I'll move this to the edge. Now hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and we will move this over here. Hit Ctrl D, and now I'll move this somewhere around over here, and this one should be over here like that. Now select all the three, press P for position and bring them a little bit down. Let's move this a little bit down and move this one also a little bit down. Select all the three, press T, and let's make it what we call extra opacity 100 again. Now hit U. Now we will again create one ellipse, and this time I'm going to choose white color and hit OK, and by holding shift I am going to create one circle like that. Then press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center and align it horizontally. Press V again, and let's move this over somewhere around over here. Now select this and change the color to pink, or let's say something different, brown, or let's make this blue and hit U. Select this, hit enter, and let's call this as chest. Press Ctrl Alt Home again to hide this. Now as you can see we have one main over here. Now hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, hit enter, and let's call this as mask and bring this layer at the top. Select this chest and choose alpha matte mask. Select this mask and press S, and let's make it 90. As you can see we are getting something like that. Let's make it 95, but this looks good to me. Now we have one head over here, so bring this head at the top. Now we have this mask, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, bring it over here. Select this head and choose alpha matte for this one also. Yep, this looks good to me. Now I'm going to select this mask, this chest, and let's hide it for now. Now we will focus on our proper animation portions, so let's hide this extras also like that, and let's not hide this head. Now we will animate our head first, so select this head, press S, create one keyframe at the start, zoom in, go to around 20 frames, and create another keyframe. Go to the start and let's make it 0. Now select those keyframes and hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph, and by holding shifts move this graph over here and move this one handle over here. Make sure that you are in a speed graph, so for that all you need to do, simply right click over here and you have to check out whether it's edit speed graph or value graph. Make sure that it should be edit speed graph, and let's hide this. So we'll get this animation. Now after that scaling animation, we want some dropping animations like a ball. So I'm going to select this. Now select this mask, press S, and let's make this 100 for this one. Yeah. Now select this head, press P for position, create one keyframe, go to around 10 frames, and let's move this over here. Go a few frames forwards, again create another keyframe, and in middle of it we will bring this at the top like that. Now select those keyframes and hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph, by holding shift move this over here and this over here, and select this handle, move this handle over here, this handle over here, zoom in a little bit, and let's change this handles like that. Sorry. So if you see, now we will get this scaling animation, and then we will get this dropping animation of this ball. So this is for this animation. Now after that I'm going to select this extras and I'm gonna enable their view like that, and let's bring them at the top. Now we have to focus on this ones also only. So now I'm going to select all of them. I'll press F4 and I'll enable this option, and then I'll enable this hidden all layers, which is shy, and click on it. So now as you can see, these layers are gone. They are still there, but we cannot see them in the layer panels. So now we are going to focus on these extras. So press S for scaling option, create one keyframe. Again we will go to the 20 frames and we will create another keyframe, and let's create keyframe over here. Go to the start, let's make them 0. Select those keyframes and hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph, by holding shift move this handle over here. Yep. Now right click, new, and create one null object. Select this extra, or let's select all of them and make it a parent with this null one. Yeah. Now after this, go to 20 frames, select this null one, press R for rotation, create one keyframe, go to around 2 seconds, and let's make this complete one rotation like that. Now select those keyframes and hit F9. Now select this graph editor, by holding shift move this over here and this over here. So if you see, we will get this kind of animation. Now select both all these extras, press P for position, create one keyframe, go to around 20, select this and bring this at the center. And if you want to see the center, simply choose grid and guide option and hit title selection. Like that. So if you see, we will get this kind of stuff. If you want, then you can move those keyframes over here also, or let's move them over here. Now select those keyframes and hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph, and by holding shift I'll move this over here. So if you see this animation, now we will get this kind of stuff. Now I'll select this null object, I'll hit Ctrl D 2 times to duplicate. Now I'll select this null object and I'll make it a parent with this third one. Select this fifth one, make it a parent with this second. Select this one and make it a parent with this first. Now select this extra, and by holding Ctrl I'm going to select this null one, third layer, which is parent with this one. So press Ctrl Shift C to make it a pre-comp, and I'll call it as extra 1 and hit OK. Select this extra 2 and this null, hit Ctrl Shift C to pre-comp. I'll call this as extra 2. Sorry. Hit OK. Select this and this, press Ctrl Shift C. I'll call this as extra 3 and hit OK. So as you can see, we are still getting this animation. Now we will disable this shy, and we will select all those main extras and we'll bring them down. go to 10 frames, move them over here, go to 20, let's move this over here, and go to 1 second, let's move this over here. I think the distance is too much, so we'll go to start. I'll go to around, let's say 5 frames, move this over here, 10, move this over here, and 15, we should move this over here. And now if I see my animation, I'll get something like this, but I think there is something wrong. This one, oops, the name changed around me, but don't worry, we can still change their position like that. Yeah, so we'll get something like this. So I have to change the name of them, so don't do that mistake like me. So after that we have to animate our chest thing, so I'm going to enable this chest right now, and at this point I want it to be appear, so I'll move this chest and mask over here, press P, select this chest, create one keyframe, and go to around something, sorry, go to around here, create another keyframe, go to the start, let's move it downwards like that. Now select this head, press P, create one keyframe, go over here, create another keyframe like that, and let's move this over here. If you want, then you can change the position like this. Yep, this looks good to me. Now select those keyframes and hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move this over here like this. Again, go to the graph, select this handle also, and by holding shift move this over here. So if you see this animation from the start, we'll get something like this. Let's move this keyframes a little bit forward like that. Now after that, select this head, create one keyframe, go few frames forwards, let's move this over here. Again, create another keyframe, go few frames forward, let's move this over here. One keyframe, go to the start, and let's, with the help of align tab, we can align it at the center. So we will get this kind of head animation like this. And if you want to change the duration, you can move those keyframes closely like that. Now after that, what we need to do, we will, at this point I'll create one keyframe at the head and one keyframe at the position, and at this point I'll select this head and chest, and I'll move this downwards. Now select those keyframes, hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, let's move this over here. So if you see, you'll get something like this. Now in middle of this position animation, you can select those keyframes and you can hit F9, so the graph should be normal like this. And at this point my animation is gonna end, so I'll hit N, and now if you see, you will get this continuous looping animation like that. And if you want, then you can change the duration by holding Alt. You can reduce the size. So now if I see, I'll get this quick animation. Let's move them over here and move them a little bit over here. Like this. So now we will add some little bit extra movement. So I'm going to select this. For the color, I'm going to choose this color only and hit OK. And by holding shift, I'm going to create this circle, Control Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center, align horizontally and then align it vertically. Hit Control T and let's hit enter, and let's call this as mask and hit OK. Select this shape layer, press F4 and choose alpha matte, or let's say choose alpha inverted matte. Select this let's enable this. If you hit alpha matte, we will get something like that, and alpha inverted matte, as you can see, we are not getting anything. But now what we will do, we'll go to the effect and presets panel, and we will search for blur effect, and in blur effect we will choose Gaussian blur. And if you increase the blur value, as you can see, we are getting something like that. Now select this mask, press S and scale it like that, so we'll get something like this. And if you disable this, you will get this kind of stuff. Now select this shape layer and this mask, press S, Ctrl Shift C, and let's call this as wave, and hit OK and bring it downwards like that. Press S, let's decrease the scale, let's call it like 0, create one keyframe and go to around 1. Let's increase the size of it. Somewhere like this, or initially we should not make it complete 0. Let's increase the scale like, let's say 50. Then press T for opacity, create one keyframe, hit U, go over here at the start and let's make this 0 completely. Now I'll move this thing to 8 seconds like that, and I'll move this thing to 1 second. Now select those keyframes and hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift. I'll move this over here. So now if I see, I'll get something like that, or you can move this to 2 seconds also, so you'll get this animation a little bit longer. And if you want, then you can increase the size from here. Now go to around 1 second, hit Ctrl D and move this over here. Go to 2 seconds, hit Ctrl D, move over here, hit Ctrl D, move this over here. Go to the 4 second, select this, hit Ctrl D, move this over here. Go to the 5 second, hit Ctrl D, move this over here. Go to 6 seconds, hit Ctrl D, move over here. 7 second, hit Ctrl D, move this over here. And 8 seconds, hit Ctrl D, move this over here. Go to 9 seconds and hit Ctrl D and move this over here. Now we will select all this wave, go to the start, and we will just shift over here like that. And now if I hit play, I'll get this continuous looping animation. So as you can see, with the help of this kind of techniques, you can create this kind of looping animation for your user interface or anything, or you can create any type of GIF also. So that's it for the today's video. We will see you in the next lecture. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, then please consider to subscribe this channel and also hit the bell icon to get more updates. Until then, stay tuned.